What's good? I'm Chump. This is my point of view. I thoroughly enjoyed UFC 314. I thought the card delivered. I thought Dom Reyes delivered. Good for him. 3 KO wins in a row after coming off of 3 KO losses in a row. Following the John Jones loss, which no matter what you think about the decision during that fight, it's really tough to bounce back from, man. He truly believes he won. Would have been one of, if not the biggest upset of all time. Complete life-changing moment. For the scorecards not to go his way. It's a difficult pill to swallow. Then getting KO'd by Jan, and then a devastating one, caused a ton of damage. That one to Yuri, who's, a liability to land stuff like that. But, he showed a lot of heart in that fight. Kept fighting after he was hurt. For it to end like that was tough. And then taking a step down in competition a little bit, losing to Ryan Spann. That was like the culmination of just all that bad stuff happened in his career. So very impressive, just career bounce back in general. And a great win over Krylov, who's a really good fighter. Coming off a long layoff, but still a very talented fighter. So good for Dom, man. And then moving on to Bryce Mitchell and Gene Silva. Gene looked phenomenal. Very impressed with him. I'd like to see him take a step up, almost like a title eliminator next, possibly. He looked phenomenal. Ground game, really good. We knew his striking was really good. His cardio looked awesome for someone with that amount of muscle mass and to be that dense and look, that fresh. I mean, he was in control of the fight. He was the one dictating the pace, but still very impressive. Just when he'd look to latch up a submission, very quick with it, looked very confident, comfortable against a really good grappler in Bryce. And he's clearly one of the guys in that division. If you can do that to Bryce Mitchell, he's sort of like a Neil Magny. If you beat him and beat him convincingly, big things are coming your way. So, yeah, very, very interested to see what's next in his career. And it's going to be something big, definitely, a big opportunity. And then with respect to Bryce, too, I think he really needed to use your hands, man. He was, doing his thing in the beginning, throwing a lot of kicks. But with someone like Gene who's got his hands down, someone who's a little bit shorter than you, and someone, even when his hands are up, man, he's got sort of like the Pereira guard. It's wide open. You got to throw a 1-2 the entire fight. I was saying, at least pump the jab just to keep him off. He has defense too. But I think if Gene does lose, it's going to be sort of like an Adesanya versus Pereira too, where someone's going to catch him with a straight right. He is kind of there to be hit like that. But yeah, looked amazing though in general. And Bryce, I have nothing but respect for Bryce. I really like him as a person. I think he's got a good heart. He's a genuine dude. I think a lot of the commentary after the fight was just stupid and just his belief and his faith in God has nothing to do with winning or losing the fight. It couldn't be more irrelevant. I thought, he represented himself as a Christian really well and just as a man really well. I don't understand the negative commentary surrounding the fight. I get some people may not like some of his commentary and some of his, beliefs regarding, certain historical events, but I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of a lot of the comments regarding him. So, yeah, hopefully he bounced back. Hopefully he keeps doing his thing. I'm a huge Bryce Mitchell supporter. And then moving on, Patricio Pitbull and Yair Rodriguez, man. I think Patricio is kind of washed. He was a really, really good fighter. He's had a really long career. He just didn't look the same. There was shades of, his old self where he still got some punching power. He was explosive, but he used to, close the distance really quickly. He had a higher motor. He just seemed too kind of nonchalant, too relaxed, and just, man, he needed to be the one going forward. He needed to be closing the distance. He needed to keep Yair on the back foot, just pressure him, and he just wasn't doing any of that. He was just staying at range, at kicking range, of all things. If Yair wasn't a kicker, it's still the longer, taller dude, man. You gotta, stay in boxing range, even if they're both boxers, get in on the inside, use your head movement, whatever, make it a little dirty. Get to the inside where you can throw your hooks, where you can throw combinations. There was no sustained attack. There was no pressure. There was very few combinations. He, countered him a few times with maybe a 3-2. But that was disappointing because Patricio's a really, really good fighter, and it's later in his career, and to be on that big of a stage and just not deliver, not show his best self, that sucks. Because, Now, a lot of people are going to think he's not as good as he actually is or was. And Yair, honestly, I don't have too much to say about Yair. He won kind of easily. He didn't have to do that much. He looked good, but wasn't tested enough to really, have to show a lot. So what I do want to see is him versus Lopez, knowing that Lopez lost. I'd love to just book it, take my money, Guadalajara, do it. That writes itself. I am very interested in Yair's next fight, assuming it's going to be against Lopez. And moving on to Paddy Pimblett and Michael Chandler. Amazing performance by Paddy. Probably performance of the night. Shocking. Honestly, what shocked me the most isn't the damage he inflicted on Chandler. It was how he just totally gassed Michael Chandler, who's been in a ton of 5-round fights. I mean, after one, they were saying it in his corner, and Paddy knew it too. Like, he's gassed. I don't know if it was just the shock of like, holy shit, this kid's kind of dominating me. He also is very comfortable on the feet. And Michael must have been aware of, his size beforehand, though. Paddy's huge. Just kind of like dwarfed Michael Chandler in there, and was able to use his length, use his height, his reach with the striking, unorthodox, but it was working for him. Very confident in there, and just totally gassed Michael Chandler out and around. I don't know if it was maybe the grappling. Also, he was working really hard to take Paddy down, got him down initially. He had the right idea too. Be explosive. He was looking to line up a right hand. Paddy is there to be hit, very much like Gene Silva. I think if he loses, that's probably how it's going to get done. But he just wasn't able to do it. And I was thinking in the second round, just stay with a be more busy and just look to line up that right hand. You got the right idea, just, stick with it. But man, once his energy was zapped, it's like, well, that's definitely not happening. Now I don't really know what your angle is, because Paddy just seems to be the better fighter right now, and he's in total control. And that closing sequence that was crazy. The knee cut him wide open, man. Chandler his face was a mess. That was tough to see too. After that, like, 2-year layoff, hoping to get the Conor fight, and just kind of nothing going his way. And then the comeback hasn't been, what he was hoping for. But sort of like Patricio, it's not that sad. They both had really good, decorated careers. They've made plenty of money. They've done their thing. But I'm sure the UFC couldn't be more happy about the Paddy performance. He lost a lot of hype after the Jared Gordon fight. And now not only is his hype back, but it's like he had a ton of hype before people thought of him as, even a top 15 guy. Now it's like, okay, he's one of the guys at lightweight. It's going to start to get out of control. He has an opportunity to be a massive, massive star. So good for him. And if you're looking into the future, if he can get another win, calling out basically any of the top 4 guys, dude, he's got the size to match Makhachev. That's one of the things with Makhachev and Khabib. Every time they fight someone, it's like, this dude's just not even big enough, man. Like, they're just too small. I remember Gaethje against Khabib. It's like, just that alone, man. It's just, you gotta find a way. You gotta be good at cutting weight. I don't know what it is, but Paddy definitely has the size to match Makhachev. I'm not saying he's gonna beat him, but that is an important element to it. So excited to see where he goes. I'll definitely be tuning into his next fight. And then the main event, Volk. That was vintage Volk. He looked awesome. It's incredible, man, how he's like a former rugby guy. You see, former football players go over to MMA. They're strong, they're explosive, whatever, but they don't have that type of movement, that type of footwork. I mean, Volk looks amazing on the outside. It's just crazy to know that he's a former rugby guy and not someone that's been striking his entire life. Just truly looks incredible on the feet, and especially, at a distance, even in the pocket where Lopez was extremely dangerous. I don't think they were giving him enough love on the commentary. I think he had the right idea too, sort of like Chandler. He was trying to do different things, but when Volk would hit him, he'd say, come here, because he knew if we're going to trade back and forth, we're going to exchange in the pocket, I'm going to end up KOing him. And Volk knew that too. Very smart. There's a lot of guys that start to, they're kind of piecing someone up on the feet. They're clearly winning. They get a little too cocky. They want to exchange in the pocket. Maybe, try to really like cement the fact that they won the round. It's do not do that, man. That is not going to work. Just keep doing what you're doing. Was very defensively sound as he was exiting. It was one time he got caught. Good corner work too. They told him, be careful when you're exiting. And I thought both of them looked good. I'm really curious to see where Volk goes now. it would be really interesting if, say, Ilya loses at 155. It's kind of the opposite of the previous matchup, where now Ilya is the one coming down back from 55 to 45. And I know he says he doesn't want to fight at 45 anymore, but he doesn't look too big for the division at all. I think he absolutely could make the weight again. That would be a very intriguing matchup. But wherever Volk goes, whether it's Movsar next, possibly Gene Silva, maybe they can give him another one. It's not like he took a lot of damage. That would be interesting too. Get him another one and then give him a title shot. And yeah, Diego and Yair, book it. I'd love to see it. Diego's chin's just incredible. Volk was landing some legitimately hard shots, some overhands, some hooks, some straights, and just nothing, like literally nothing. I was impressed by Diego. Yeah, in the pocket, man, he's got a lot of power. He's aggressive, good cardio too. Obviously, his chin's phenomenal. Yeah, really good fighter. Impressed. But Volk, more experience, just, better, I would say smarter. But Diego, sorry. I know a Diogo. I know, weird. Brazilians, that, just make up their own names. But yeah, he's only going to get better, and I'm really excited to see how he progresses in his career too. So yeah, really good card, especially after the last two I watched were just like sleeping pills. This was very entertaining, good stuff. So yeah, that's all I got. Peace.